Gone through the introduction of Proverbs, and that's really the first 9 books. We call it the introduction because it doesn't quite get into the riddles and little pithy sayings that we typically think of when we're looking at Proverbs. But it does give us the personification of wisdom. It gives us some warnings of adultery, staying close to God, fearing God, seeking Him, seeking wisdom, not worldly wisdom. And so now we're going to get into some of the sayings. So let's go ahead and get right into chapter 10. Let's go over here to our Logos Bible Study program. The Proverbs of Solomon, chapter 10. A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is sorrow to his mother. And you think about, right, wise son makes a glad father. So, I mean, proud parents. I mean, what parent isn't proud when their sons or daughters use wisdom, right? But a foolish son is sorrow to his mother. And just, I can think of just how many mothers out there, praying for their kids. It's so hard, when you love your children and then they don't follow in your ways, and you might have done the best job you can do to possibly raise them. But here's the thing, the hard truth is there is no guarantee that as a full-grown adult that they're going to follow in your ways. I mean, you really want them to, but really that's between them and God. And so, don't take that so close to heart. Pray for them. But I know so many parents will just blame themselves, and you can't do that. They are full-grown adults. If you raise them in the Lord, and I've seen kids that they were not raised in a Christian household, and yet they're on fire for God. So here's the thing, with this proverb, hey, it's just stating a fact. It's a heartache. It doesn't mean you didn't do a good job. But don't take that so much to heart. Each one of us is responsible for our own decisions and our own walk with the Lord, ultimately. Verse 2, treasures gained by wickedness do not profit, but righteousness delivers from death, right? It seems pretty straightforward. Treasures gained by wickedness do not profit. Well, some might argue, but I do see people profit a lot. They seem to profit, but ultimately they continue in that way. It's not going to lead to eternal life. And think about those with wicked gain. You're always looking over your shoulder. You're always thinking, maybe you cheated on your taxes. Maybe, you stole something or whatever it is, or you got something through fabrication that you got something in a way that wasn't quite right. And so you're always kind of looking over your shoulder and checking. Isn't it much better to do honest business, right? Verse 3, the Lord does not let the righteous go hungry, but He thwarts the cravings of the wicked. And this is true. God provides for those who are His, those that He loves. A slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. He who gathers in summer is a prudent son, but he who sleeps in harvest is a son who brings shame. Blessing are on the head of the righteous, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. So again, a lot of sayings here, really, and you're going to see this, slack hand causes poverty, right? Another place it'll say, those who don't work should not eat, right? And that's pretty straightforward. Blessings are in the head of the righteous, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. The memory of the righteous is a blessing, but the name of the wicked will rot. And think about that. The memory of the righteous. We have, when we have funerals, we have celebration of life. And I think of so many that I've been to where people have just had a godly impact. I've also been to some funerals where I don't know if I would call it a celebration of life. It was, people had some hard things to say. But, that's the thing. You want to be remembered for the good things, and those memories that you leave, they live on within the hearts of your children, of your friends, family, people that you've affected. The wise of heart will receive commandments, from a babbling fool will come to ruin, right? Well, of course. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his way crooked will be found out. Whoever winks the eye causes trouble, and a babbling fool will come to ruin. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all offenses. Oh, look at that. Hatred stirs up strife. I think about, people that are just trying to stir things up. There's a lot of stuff happening in the news right now, just unprecedented things. And a lot of what I see there are people that are just doing things to stir other people up in politics and different things, to stir up hatred, right? Divide and conquer. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all offenses. And love really means that, I'm not focused on myself, I'm focused on you. And this is the thing, whether you're talking about this nationally, you're talking about this personally. Man, even if you are in the right, if you can apologize to somebody, if you can love them. And again, I don't mean don't go apologizing for something that you didn't do, but hatred, it just goes back and forth, and it doesn't add anything. Love covers over all offenses, man. Somebody offended you, if you can forgive them, if you can show love, do it, right? On the lips of him who has understanding, wisdom is found, but a rod is for the back of him who lacks sense. Well, yep, it's true. The wise lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the fool brings ruin near. A rich man's wealth is his strong city. The wage of the righteous leads to life, the gain of the wicked to sin. And it's not saying that there's anything wrong with those that are wealthy, that are serving God, but a lot of people, they fully trust in their wealth, and they do not trust in God. And so it says the wage of the righteous leads to life, right? Eternal life ultimately. But this life is short. If our focus isn't just amassing wealth, and we're not focused on how to use that wealth to bless the Lord and to bless those around us, well, we're just wasting our time, right? Whoever heeds instruction is on the path to life, but he who rejects reproof leads others astray. The one who conceals hatred has lying lips, and whoever utters slander is a fool. Wow. Again, I could go off into some political commentary right now, but there's a lot of slander going on. A lot of people saying a lot of things that have no proof of anything. A lot of what you would call, Trump used to call fake news, still calls it fake news. There's a lot of that going on. It's hard to know who to trust. But this is why wisdom is so important. Whoever utters slander is a fool, of course. It's going to catch up with them, right? You slander people, that's going to catch up with you. When words are many, transgression is not lacking. That's true. But whoever restrains his lips is prudent. I mean, I know people that talk a lot, and sometimes when you talk a lot, you have to be careful of how much you share. I think if you're really not much of a talker, this isn't much of a problem, but if you are a talker, be careful. Whoever restrains his lips is prudent. There are just some things people don't need to know. And you're much wiser keeping some things to yourself, right? There's a general rule. I mean, if it's not helpful, if it's not building somebody up, if it's not necessary, don't say it, right? The tongue of the righteous is choice silver, and the heart of the wicked is of little worth. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for lack of sense. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Doing wrong is like a joke to a fool, but wisdom is pleasure to a man of understanding. Doing wrong is like a joke to a fool. In other words, it's no big deal, right? You don't give a second thought to doing evil, and I see so much of that going on today. But the wicked dreads will come upon him, but the desire of the righteous will be granted. When the tempest passes, the wicked is no more, but the righteous is established forever. Like vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is the sluggard to those who send him. I don't know sucking on vinegar, what that's like. Smoke to the eyes is very irritating. So I would say this is talking about irritation. It's pretty irritating. So is the sluggard to those who send him. You know, you send somebody to do a job, and you have to tell them over and over and over again. They try somebody, if you've ever been in charge or been a lead on a job, and it's so frustrating, right? So, you know, you don't want to be an irritation to somebody or to your boss, or you know, make sure that you do your work, right? So again, there's a lot of proverbs that have to do with slackness and working hard. This is one of them. Verse 27, the fear of the Lord prolongs life, but the years of the wicked will be short. The hope of righteousness brings joy, but the expectation of the wicked will perish away. The Lord is a stronghold to the blameless, but destruction to evildoers. The righteous will never be removed, but the wicked will not dwell in the land. The mouth of the righteous bring forth wisdom, but the perverse tongue will be cut off. Now, when you read a lot of these things, understand, you know, you might be thinking, well, you know, I know some pretty wicked people live a long time, and you know, these are not absolutes. When you read the Psalms and you read the Proverbs, it's not saying these are absolutes. You know, this is always going to happen. This is just saying this is the way to live. You know, this is the way to live. This is the way to be blessed in this life and to inherit eternal life, right? This is the way. Mouth of the righteous brings forth wisdom, but the first tongue will be cut off. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked what is perverse. And so we're going to stop right there. So you can see, so now there's a lot of really pithy sayings. Some of it sounds pretty obvious. Some of it, you know, use a little bit of illustration, like, you know, what is smoke to the eyes? Well, you know, he's talking about frustration, right? And so what do we learn from this whole chapter? Really, he talks about just really the kind of people that you try to share wisdom with, those that you don't. Talks about really being a good worker, not being slack, not being lazy. So, I mean, there's a lot of things in here. There's some other advice, financial advice, advice about loans and things. It's really interesting as we get further into Proverbs, but that's really the first chapter. Hopefully this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, go ahead and email us, hopechapelwestside at yahoo.com, and I will do my best to answer questions for you in some of the following videos. God bless. And